America is alone. America has fallen. Like all great dynasties, America's time in the spotlight as a dynasty is over. Not only is it over, but America is dying, and it's dying alone. We're not only being isolated from the countries that we know are our enemies, but we're also being isolated from the countries that we once called our friends. Since World War II, America has led the world. It was able to dictate that the dollar was the default currency used in international trading. People from other countries admired America. They wanted to come here. They wanted to live here. They wanted to work here, but not anymore. Because of the gun violence, a lot of people are afraid of coming to America. Some people are just fed up with America. Unfortunately, they have seen the ugly side of America, the real side of America. Why is America dying? It's dying because we, the people, in order to destroy our once perfect union, have turned our backs on our fellow Americans, on our friends, our neighbors. We have turned our backs on the Americans who helped build this country, the Americans who fought for this country, the Americans who went to war and came back with permanent mental and physical scars. We turned our back on the people who fought for the concept of what America stands for, but they did not return home to enjoy it. Some other things that are killing America are our greed, our envy, and our selfishness. As I have always said, the rich do not care about you. If you're white, black, or brown, they don't care. If you're not making money for them, they don't care. If you're white, they look at you as a minority in whiteface. It's sad to see a country as rich as America with so many unsheltered people. People are sleeping in their cars, they're couch surfing between their family and friends, they're sleeping in tents on the sidewalk, they're sleeping in tents on the beach. But what makes it even worse is to see these people sleeping on the sidewalk and out on the street, and right next to them is a house that's boarded up. We have enough vacant homes to house almost everyone. Another thing that's sad is the wealthy are buying homes, fixing them up, and increasing the prices so the average person cannot buy that house. They'll raise the rent beyond what the average person can afford. The rich don't care about you, and apparently we don't care about ourselves because we want to emulate the rich. Granted, some people have lost limbs or they're sleeping out on the street because of addictions, but you can't tell that just by looking. The person that you're looking at, how do you know that that limb was not lost in a war? How can you tell that they didn't become addicted to the drugs that was supposed to help them overcome some of their illnesses? How can you look at someone and tell whether they are unsheltered because they lost their job, they had a medical emergency? Some people lose their homes due to natural disasters, hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. Yet we stand back and we assume that they made bad choices, that they're drug addicts, that they're lazy. For you Christians out there, is it not to share your bread with the hungry and bring the homeless into your house? When you see someone without clothes, to give them something to wear? That's in Isaiah 58, verse 7. Another thing for you Christians, judge not, lest ye be judged. For what you use to judge will be used to judge you. I mention that because a lot of the Christians, they'll go to church on Sunday, and that's it. During the week, they're judging and being cruel to other people. They're out after the dollar to emulate the rich. Another reason that America is dying is because of the tariffs and how we have treated our friends, our allies. America has turned its back on its allies and climbed in bed with our enemies. Things have gotten so bad in America that major corporations are moving to other countries. They're shutting down the plants. The jobs that were supposed to come back to America are actually leaving. These are the middle class jobs. Jobs with companies like Walmart, Ford, Mack Truck. These are the jobs that had the path to the middle class. These are the jobs that we thought belonged to us. But the rich did not care about us. They wanted to make more money, so they moved the plant. One reason our salaries are higher than they are in Mexico or in Europe. But the other reason is the tariffs. Some cars have to go through 2 or 3 different countries in order for all the parts to come to the U.S. for assembly. John Deere didn't care. They could make more money with their tractors being sold in other countries. The sad part is, with the tariffs on, places are laying off. They're not hiring. What are you going to do to support your family when you're laid off? If you're 50, 55, 60, and you're used to making this 6 figures, how are you going to support your family on unemployment? Do you really think you can get a job making that same money? I doubt it, because they're all about the money. Like they say, what goes around comes around. So if you were wishing ill on other people, you didn't think they deserved to have a good job, now you're getting to experience that. During Trump's first term, he put tariffs and sanctions on other countries. Those countries tried to fight, they tried to negotiate, but eventually they went on and accepted the tariffs. He also replaced NAFTA with the USMCA. That's for U.S. Mexico Canada Alliance. Now in his second term, even though he negotiated that agreement, he's complaining about it. He says it doesn't go far enough to protect American jobs. They're taking so-called American jobs and going to another country. When it looked like Donald Trump was going to be elected again, I believe other countries met and they discussed how to deal with Donald Trump and how to deal with America. The strategies that they came up with appear to be working. As expected, Donald Trump put sanctions and tariffs on countries, including our friends such as Mexico and Canada. However, those tariffs are not working this time. That's old school. The countries have advanced beyond that. Instead of hurting those other countries and putting pressure on them so that they'll do what Donald Trump wants, those tariffs are actually hurting Americans. Those tariffs are actually attacks on the American people, on anything that is important to America. MAGA slogan of America First, that should be changed to America Alone, because those tariffs have isolated America from all the other countries. Canadians and tourists from other countries have stopped coming to America for a vacation or to just live. They have stopped coming. The snowbirds, they have started selling their summer homes. Canada started putting tariffs on the power that was sent to about 3 or 4 states. And as discussed in their meeting, if those things did not work, they would ramp up the pressure on the U.S. They would ramp up the pressure by not dealing with America. Like I said, isolate us. They started forming new coalitions, new trade partners, things that would normally take months, if not years, to accomplish. They were accomplishing in weeks. Most fruits and vegetables are not being harvested. They're sitting in the fields being plowed over. They're sitting in the fields rotting. They're sitting in the fields because we, the people, wanted to destroy our once perfect union. We voted against our own best interests. We didn't realize that the migrants were the ones harvesting the crops. We didn't realize the migrants were the ones making the clothing. I take that back. We knew that they were doing it. We just didn't care. We thought he wouldn't deport the migrants that were doing the labor. Instead of shipping products to America, the products that would normally come to America are being shipped to other countries. For example, the soybeans that would normally be shipped to China, China is now buying those products, mainly soybeans, from Brazil and Venezuela. Mind you, Brazil and China are both in the BRICS nation. America's ports are empty. There's nothing coming in, nothing going out. That's because of how we voted. We voted against our own best interests. Instead of doing what is right, we saw Mexicans and wanted to hurt them. For you Christians, you should know God does not like ugly. You should know that racism, bigotry, and favoritism are sins. I don't want to sound like I'm just picking on the farmers. It was all of us. Yeah, some of us did not vote for Donald Trump. I understand that, but we're all in this together. People listen to their association president, their union president, their family, their friends, and the news media, and they voted against their best interests. The small business owners, truckers, and government workers voted against their own best interests. The people are now feeling the pain of their vote. However, the people who voted against Trump shouldn't gloat. They shouldn't be happy that those who voted for Trump are feeling the pain. Just remember, when Hitler started marching through the cities, the towns, the countries over in Europe, people were gloating, saying, serves them right, they're dumb, it won't happen here. And then Hitler marched through their town. I'm just saying that you shouldn't be happy about those people feeling the pain, losing their jobs. We need to band together. The poor, the working poor, what's left of the middle class, come together and take control of our country. But again, I don't blame Donald Trump because he's doing exactly what he said he would do. He's getting rid of federal workers, he's getting rid of federal agencies, he's cutting funds, just like he said he would do. And people are feeling the pain. Trump lies a lot, but he didn't lie when he said what he would do. He said he was going to shrink the size of the federal government, but people didn't think that meant getting rid of their migrant workers. They didn't think it meant getting rid of their job, the job of their family member. But now that it's happening, don't blame him because he told you what he was going to do. Other countries have gotten together and formed new coalitions, gotten new trading partners, and their life goes on with very little change. China is now buying things from Brazil and Venezuela. Canada is shipping oil to the EU, Japan, and China. They're shipping lumber. They're shipping the LNG gas. Those are things that would normally come to America, but not now. And it doesn't stop there. Even small countries have band together and turned their back on America. The small countries that America could get to do practically anything are now turning down our offer of money, of protection. They are tired of America's one-sided deals. They started turning their back on America, dealing with China, dealing with Russia, and apparently they're happy. Countries are dealing more with the BRICS nations than with America. For example, China is helping to build one of the longest bridges in Africa. They have built buildings around the Panama Canal. They are helping to build hospitals and roads in Africa. America and other Western countries would go to Africa with the promise of building roads and protection, and they wouldn't do it. The roads that they were built were from the gold mines, the oil fields, to the ports, but there were no roads built to connect the people. The promise of building bridges and hospitals never materialized. So basically, while America is dying, China and the other BRICS nations are moving up. Previously, I said companies are leaving America. They are leaving because of the tariffs, because American salaries are higher than other countries, but also because the company can make more money for its wealthy investors by having a plant in another country. Well, one of the wealthiest men in America left his job to become a contractor for the federal government. His tenure lasted about 5 months. During that 5 months, he cut government funding, he cut government agents, he laid off hundreds of people. In the process of the federal government defending itself against the state governments and private companies, he made a fortune for wealthy attorneys. We already had a mess. We already had excessive government spending. Then he comes along and causes more expense. But then once the mess got messier, he decides he's going to leave and go back to his private company. Not only did he go back to his private company, but he is moving it out of America. He had contracts with the federal government before he became a contractor. Those contracts remained valid while he was a contractor. Now he's walking away from those contracts and working for the BRICS nation. As I said before, the BRICS nation is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Those are the countries that started it, but now it's up to about 44 countries. Other countries are looking to the BRICS nations to do things that America used to do, that Western governments used to do, that the IMF used to do. So if you think America was in a mess before, he has made it worse. While America wants to build walls, the BRICS nations are offering bridges. While America stokes up fear and division, the BRICS nations are offering hope and inclusivity. While America has dictated the use of the dollar for international trade, China and the BRICS nations are allowing countries to use their own currency, to use gold, to use software that they have created. As I said, America as a dynasty is failing. I think more and more people living in America are starting to realize that. The sad part is the wealthy will pack up and move to another country. The poor, the working poor, and what's left of the decimated middle class, we're going to be here. It's time for us to stop listening to what the politicians promise and take control. The politicians, Republican or Democrat, your representative is not there to represent you. They are there solely to keep a lid on the people, while the upper class, the wealthy, take all of the money, all of the resources, and enjoy their life. Please like, subscribe, and share this video.